as always, guys. So we'll post this up on YouTube afterwards. So for those that don't know, every Sunday we hop on, share all of our ideas for the week, so that you guys have some sort of basis of like a structure analysis that you can look at for the entire week. We post everything in the Telegram as well. So that's pretty much what the Sunday Market Blitz is. If you guys have questions, feel free to write in the chat. Obviously, if you guys have your own analysis that you want to share, feel free to share up if you have like different ideas and everything. And yeah, Nick normally kicks it off. So why don't you go ahead? You got DXY up here.
Yeah, let's get it started. So first thing we're going to do before anything, looking forward into the week, we want to know what the dollar's doing. And we want to know that for a lot of reasons. The dollar makes up for 80% of all trade. If you see a lot of volume kind of stepping in or a huge, rally about to kick off, you'll see a lot of the market react to some degree. So it's kind of good to stop in here, analyze this, see what the overall trend is, and then we apply that, through the rest of the pairs as we're trading. So let's start off on the daily time frame. And we're going to see what DXY has been doing. What key zones have been relevant, and has there been any change to that overall trend, and so on. So we were very bearish for a while. Huge break above, back below, a little bit of consolidation, but then we went bullish over here. Right? We saw a definite break, clear break of this monthly zone, and then actual structure started to form. We got higher lows. Unlike over here, this was kind of just an immense amount of volume, tested once, came right back down. Over here, we actually have structure. This is nice to see. It shows strength of a trend, true trend, and then, we're continuing higher. So lately, we've been riding this huge rally. We just got above 93.8, which has been a key resistance level in the past. Okay, so this is really a crucial level, how price action reacts here. And it has been pushing above. We have established a bit of a range that we're going to get into on the 4-hour. But from the daily here, we can see that we're pretty much bullish. So let's get a closer look and pretty much come up with the two most likely scenarios for the week ahead. And we're going to do that based on this 4-hour time frame. This is usually the time frame that's going to show the week ahead the clearest in terms of structure, at least through the strategy that we use. That's what we've pretty much realized. So what's the 4-hour doing? Essentially, we broke above 93.8, and here's that range I was talking about. Resistance right here, 94.4, support right here, 93.8. Okay, so how it reacts here, like I was saying, is pretty important. We want to see a bounce here to maintain that overall bullish trend. This would be an opportunity here. There would be a lower time frame trade here, slightly more risky than waiting for the range to break, but this is definitely the most likely scenario for the week ahead. Simple bounce, we're seeing consolidation now, and a continuation back up towards resistance. So that would be a short-term bullish dollar. Okay, now if we were to, one second. Now, if we were to break below 93.8 and see a lower high, retest, rejection, reversal in this area, and then a continuation lower, clearly that's a transition of the 4-hour, and now we're bearish for this week. Okay, and then we would looking to target towards 93 support level, and then we would just follow this and see how it played out. Obviously, our ideas would change if we saw this break and retest, and then we would follow it accordingly. But for now, this is the most likely that it'll just continue to range and make a play back towards resistance. So good to know, potential bullish dollar. Going into the week, let's move over to AU with that information and do the same method, similar setup here. What's the overall trend? And then we'll drop to the 4-hour and go over, two other likely scenarios. So what have we been doing? We've been falling. Price actions forming lower lows, lower highs, clearly bearish. We did have a pretty large rally here. Nice attempt to break of 0.74. What happened? Nice reversal signal. That volume continued and just dropped. And then we found support at 0.72 again, push back up, finding ourselves back at 0.74. So overall, pretty bearish. Again, for us to say this is bullish, it has to really give us a higher low above 0.74. It just has to break and form structure above. Unlike this, it already gave us a fake out, essentially, over a 3-day period. Huge rally, stalling in price action, and then the bear stepped in and pulled it right back. So we really just want to be clear this is the real break. So let's see what the 4-hour can tell us, but overall we're bearish. Okay, let's zoom out, square this up. So here was a nice attempt break over here, came back down. Obviously a nice transition there. This was a perfect lower high before this drop. And then we got a ton of consolidation. And then here was the 4-hour transition. Break of resistance, first higher low, continuation. So that was nice to see. And this is turning out to be a pretty strong bullish trend. We are just above 0.74. Now we're moving sideways, so it is reacting to some degree. But will it continue? Based on this trend and the strength of it, it's very likely that it will continue. So we're just looking for, a little more consolidation, maybe something a little more clear, some nice bullish setups that you could then, enter on and target higher. Okay, now if this pulls back through 0.74, let's say these wicks are the, reversal signals that we're seeing right now, price action pulls back, breaks below 0.74, and then we're looking for essentially this over here, a lower high below 0.74 that we can then enter short on, and then ride that next bearish leg down towards multiple support levels, 0.73, 0.72 again, hopefully, if that does play out that way. So this is pretty clear. We just are in a really strong trend, so be patient with it. That's probably one of the biggest mistakes people make when trend trading, is they just enter at, the absolute wrong time. All right, so it's really easy to get caught off guard in a pretty high volume trend. You're not thinking this is the top and you could just buy at the high and then it comes right back down. So be patient with this one. Really want to make sure that it gives us the right setup before going long. Okay, so that's AU. Let's jump over to AJ. Daily time frame, same thing. What's the overall trend? So overall, if you just zoom out, overall this is bullish, but let's kind of break this up into these trends here, right? So this was obviously a daily transition, lower low, lower high. This is the break of structure with this random line here. And then price action fell all the way down to 79. Started consolidating with pretty high volume, just bouncing all over the place, and then finally broke. So this is very overextended on the daily. It's it's definitely bullish now, even though we haven't seen structure form yet, because it could just pull back so far and still be considered bullish. So definitely bullish now. Let's go to the 4 hour though, get a closer look, because this type of overextended price action is kind of difficult. It can really test your patience. And this is not, this is not something you want to be buying. Obviously you want to wait for this to pull back, give us more of a presence, more of a, some sort of just overall trend here that you want to see. So technically it could pull back to the weekly 83.25, give us a higher low and still maintain overall bullish trend. So we'll be looking for that. I'm going to be patient on AJ here, because let's just throw some fibs on it. From conviction, look, didn't form structure, super overextended. So we're going to assume this is the high right here. And then look, this is confluence area right here. Nice support level, weekly 38.2. So we could pull back that much and still be bullish. So just be aware of that. If you do catch a lower time frame trade and you see some, a transition on the 15-minute or 30-minute and you decide to take this short, go for it if it makes sense according to your rules and such. But for the overall trend, this is the safest bet. Waiting for a higher low and then playing that, with the trend. Okay, so the opposite's true too. If it breaks below 83.25, gives us a lower high, we're looking short at that point. It could definitely fall quite a bit down towards 81.5 before we see any sort of reaction. That's kind of what happens when you see this much momentum, this much volume step in, and then you see the reversal. It'll tend to hold that same volume. Okay, so look for that. If you see some immense, bearish candles, just hold on, wait for it to react at this level or see if it's going to break. All right, so that's AJ. Tough one for this, but this was one hell of a move all last week.
Yeah, I'm actually seeing this week too, looking at some stuff. There's not that many setups for the week.
No, it's not that great. And, even more true here with UJ. I had to bump up to the daily time frame, and I haven't done that in a long time on UJ, but it's just so overextended. This is the 4 hour. It's really up there, man. This thing blew the lid off this. Let's see. So this was first 250 pip rally, and then it gave up another 360-ish. So this thing was really moving last week. So from here, again, same thing applies that we just saw in AJ. It's very overextended, so that means it has a lot of potential to pull back and still maintain that overall trend. So because there was so much volume here on UJ, as I was saying to Angelo, I had to jump up timeframes to get a clearer picture of what the structure actually is. And sometimes you have to do that. If things just move so much, it's a higher time frame move. So you got to step back, don't get tunnel vision, find the real structure, see where things actually make sense according to your strategy and rules. That way you can actually make a realistic trade and not, kind of screw yourself in the market. So let's see what, the overall trend's been. Obviously very bullish. We had some sort of pattern here, looking like ascending triangle to some degree. And then the breakout happened, right? Nice breakout, good structure there. Definitely gave us, a fib level, clear higher low around 111.5. That's good enough. Again, we're following the daily, so this is, around the right area. And then it pushed higher. Okay, from here, again, it could pull back to this level, 38.2, but it could also pull back all the way to 111.5 and then continue with that overall, daily move and push much higher. So just be aware with that. There's definitely, if it does reverse, if you can confirm the high and then, catch the retrace, there's definitely some lower time frame moves, by 1 hour, 30-minute stuff that you could play towards the next support level where, we'd be looking for the next higher low. But right now, trying to ride the trend, this is really not looking that clear. You're going to have to wait for a pullback and real structure before anything else. That's a lot of movement, which kind of sucks. I mean, we had to do this on gold the last month or so. We had to really wait for it to make its move. That's 130 there, all the way down to here about 300.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we'll see. So for it to be completely bearish too, this is really where it has to break. 111.5, lower high below, and then nice bearish setups and conviction that we can then enter short on. So it just shows you how much movement there, has been the last week and really how much we'll have to wait here on UJ, unfortunately. But yeah, that's the overall analysis for UJ. Let's move over to EJ. EJ and gold are looking good. So that's really the only odd one for this week that I would definitely be cautious of. So yeah, EJ is looking better. But yeah, what's the overall trend here on EJ? So we're back to bullish, right? We were bullish for a while, came back, pulled back really hard, found support around 128.9, gave us this kind of high volume pattern, and then broke to the upside. So definitely bullish again. All we need is a higher low to really confirm the bullish trend, but it's moved so much, it's pretty safe to say that we're bullish now. Okay, so let's go to the 4 hour, zoom out a little bit, see what this one's been doing. Again, guys, all these JPY pairs, man, huge movement. So, I mean, we just covered 3 that look very similar. But yeah, I mean, that's trading sometimes. That's why it's good to have a variety of pairs, a lot of different assets you're looking at to trade. But yeah, so what's EJ doing? Here is the break, right around 130 flat, 132 area, just this area here. We broke through that. That was really the major break of structure. And then you could see this thing absolutely rallied, broke through all these resistance levels, 131.3, and then we just tapped 132.7 or weekly. So is this a reversal? Maybe. How it reacts here is really going to determine where we're looking for structure next, because if it breaks through this level, then we're looking for higher lows for the most part above the weekly. But right now, it's looking like we're seeing a little bit of a reaction. So this analysis is pretty much based on, where it is right now. I'm not trying to forecast anything, just trying to find the next structure level that we can then, enter on and ride that trend to a new high. So that's going to be right here at 131.3. This is really where I see structure forming. I mean, I got to see a higher low here. That'd be the safest bet. That would also offer a really great risk reward and, a reasonable target. We're not choosing the moon up here. We're choosing a reasonable target, which we just tapped and would be looking to retest again. Okay, so that's the most likely scenario. Hopefully we see something like that sooner than later, but I mean, this has been a lot of volume. So we'll see. We'll get a good feel for how things are going to be tonight and then early tomorrow once we get into some of the, more major sessions. All right, but that's what we're looking at now. If this were to go bearish, the first thing we'd have to see is obviously a break of 131.3. This would be one hell of a reversal, and it'd be likely that we'd see 130, hit again. But that's a long way away. This is obviously more likely to happen. So we'll see this week. But yeah, it's going to be a patient week for a lot of these. So let's move over to gold. This one's actually looking pretty good. There's actually really three potential setups I'm going to cover with you guys. 2 being bearish, 1 being bullish. First thing we're going to do though is go to the daily time frame. What's the trend? It's been pretty much bearish. Pretty much overall very bearish. Huge bearish volume. This was the first break of 1800 right here, and then we shot straight to 1675, double bottomed, pulled back all the way up towards it. Why is this is labeled wrong? It should be 75. 1875. There we go. Danced around that area and then pulled back pretty hard. So we were bearish from that point, but then this is the consolidation I was telling you guys, like when we were covering EJ, that we were forced to jump up to a higher time frame here on gold, and that's when we jumped between or into this range between 1825 and 1800. So this absolutely sucked. Just bouncing for days in between this area of consolidation, and then again over here, shorter period of time, but still sucked. That's just how it is sometimes. When you're caught in these high volume ranges or if things are super overextended, you have no choice but to be patient and wait for a better move to present itself. At least that's how I like to trade. Better odds. I'll take that any day of the week rather than forcing a trade or something. Okay, but it's good to know that we are definitely bearish now. Once again, this was the second time we broke below 1800. Okay, tapped 1740, pulled back, and now we're testing 1800 again, except this time with a lot of bearish volume. This is a beautiful reversal right here around this broken structure level. So let's get a closer look at that. Overall, we are bearish though, so let's keep that in mind. 4 hours looking pretty good. A little bit of consolidation around this area. Kind of looks like an inverse head and shoulders. Some of you might be thinking this being left shoulder, right shoulder, head here obviously, and the neckline. May it be or not, doesn't really matter for what we're looking for. We're just looking to ride the overall trend. If it did play out, it looks like it completed for the most part once it went for this attempt back at 1800. Okay, so from there, beautiful reversal, came right back down to support this broken structure level at 1765. So we have quite a few scenarios. The way that this most likely is going to go is it's going to pull back to some degree, give us a lower high. We'll look to short on that. First target being 1765, and then obviously 1740 for a nice risk to reward. If that happens, that'll be great. And then there'll be another entry opportunity here. We'll be looking for lower highs below 1765. However, you're going to need to be a little more cautious as the risk to reward might be a little bit less than obviously this trade to here. So just be aware of that. If it makes sense, there's a good trade there. But yeah, just gotta make sure all the points you look for when taking a trade are kind of checked off. Risk to reward being at the top of that list. Me personally, I'll always look for 2 to 1. Otherwise, I'll kind of walk away from it. I've seen a perfect trade. Every single thing lines up, and it'll be like a 1-7 to 1 or 1-5 to 1, and then I'll just move on to the next trade. Sometimes you got to do that. But yeah, here are 2 good short scenarios. Looking to get down towards 1740. If this does the opposite and pushes through this, covers all this ground on the retrace, breaks through 1800, and then gives us a higher low, then we're effectively back into this awful range. But there could be a little long opportunity depending on how the volume looks, how the structure looks, once we do clear this and see that higher low. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe we'll see. But yeah, gold's looking good. I like this volume. Definitely nice. Going to give us some good setups, hopefully. All right, so let's do a quick recap. That's all I got for you guys. But yeah, let's do this recap real quick. DXY, AU, overextended, AJ, UJ. Watch out for UJ, guys. EJ and gold. All right, so all these are actually uploaded in our Telegram and Discord if you guys don't know already, and they're active charts. So you can kind of click on them throughout the week, hit the play button that's there if you're on a PC, and then it'll show you how these analyses played out through the week, how accurate they were, which trade path it followed, and most of the time they're pretty accurate. I mean, a lot of members swear by it. They use it like pretty much every week. Some people actually trade with this and make money on it, but either way you use it, it's a tool. Use it to your advantage. If you guys, aren't full swing into your own analysis yet, use this, compare it to yours. Yeah, just another tool to hopefully help you guys in your trading. All right, but yeah, that's all I got for you guys. So I'm going to pass this off to Angelo, see what he's got. Hopefully some good crypto trades. But yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and share. So again, guys, if you got any questions, feel free to hit in the chat. I see some people sharing some ideas in here. I'm going to go over GJ in 1 second. Just let me know in the chat, guys, if you can see my screen. You see it, right?
Yeah.
Right. All right, we're gonna get started. Let's see. We're gonna get started with UCAD. So what I always do is I just bump up to the weekly time frame. This week I actually went ahead and just kind of cleared my charts, did everything over again. I went up to the weekly. I noticed that we had this nice support level going along this like 124, 125 area right here. And then most previously, obviously, we've got right here, we've got support all in this area of resistance, support. So this is definitely a key level. And as you can see, price just broke below this level. So we had a mini uptrend going. We were ascending higher, ascending higher. And then we've been talking about this for the last, several weeks. We had this new high form came down, and then this lower high form with this engulfing candle, these two wicks kind of rejecting this resistance level right here. So this is kind of the confirmation that we had gotten previously. And then once this happened, we had this engulfing and then this follow-up candle. This is just very bearish, breaking trend, everything like that. So now we're all the way down here. We're definitely bearish right now on UCAD for sure. What we do need to see ideally is some sort of pullback. And we do have the resistance level at like 1,245. So if price can pull back into this area, that would definitely be kind of the best area to get in on an entry. But let's take a look at like the lower time frame, the 4 hours. So what I've been doing is I'm using now this volume session tool. So this shows all the volume within every single session. And then as you can see, like up here, there was a lot of consolidation all up in this area. What I did was I drew this zone right here. I'm going to take this off. So this is definitely a level of resistance. This is where a lot of volume came in, and if price comes up to this area, it is most likely going to react in some way. As we can see, the market is opening and just pushing higher, right? So what I want to see, and I'm going to stick to the 4 hour time frame, is basically how is this candle going to close? We have 30 minutes left on this candle. If this thing closes with no wick, a lot of buyers are stepping in. That obviously means that momentum is shifting and buyers are stepping in. But at the same time, this is a selling zone right here. This is a level of resistance, a zone of resistance. So I'm going to wait and see if till this zone breaks. So this would have to push higher, push above this resistance level with a 4 hour candle. And then the following candles would have to then retest this area for me to want to go long on this. And yeah, someone's saying double bottom. We have this kind of slight little support level that was formed. And then we had this new low. And then we came down, retested this low again, and now we're shooting up. So price is definitely accelerating off of this area, this 1,235 area, but I want to see a little bit more confirmation to then get into like a swing trade, because overall the trend has been obviously very bearish, right? Even look in this situation right here, we had resistance, price broke above, then we had this spinning top candle, that's a reversal candle, another reversal candle that ended up just pushing lower. So we don't want to get caught in a buy and then price just literally continues all the way down to the next, not all the way down to this level, but whatever the next support level would be. And most likely would be kind of in this area, 1.228, right around. So we don't want to get caught off sides on this one. This, like I said, we gotta wait. There's nothing lining up right now. There's really no trade on UCAD. So we're gonna move that kind of down the watch list. We're going to get into GJ next. All right, so on GJ, let's just bump up overall to the weekly time frame. Let's just zoom out a little bit. I think I even bumped all the way up to the monthly on this one. I'm kind of just looking at this level of resistance. We obviously had that hit this high point right here, rejected. We had some resistance all in this area, some support, and look how price advanced off of this level to like that new high. And then we also had support here, we have resistance here, and then most previously we've had resistance here. So this is definitely a key level that it is currently testing. As we kind of get more into the chart, last week closed extremely bullish. This is as bullish as it's going to get, right? Little breakout. We had this like little descending trend. We were trying to take these sells, and then we just had price completely obliterate that resistance, and now we're all the way at this high. Now I don't want to take a buy right now coming down to the 4 hour time frame. The reason being is we are just so overextended. We've yet to get one of these little pullbacks. Literally, we haven't gotten one since this rally. So it's moved up let's see, it's moved up 530 pips. It's moved up quite a bit without ever having an actual pullback. So if we want to actually swing trade this, the best zone for this to come back into is going to be this like 155 area right here. We had a lot of consolidation in this area. So once it does hit that level, most likely consolidate again. Obviously, we're all the way up at a high point right now. One way you certainly could play this out is an evening star just formed all the way at this high. Now we're having it retest the high and showing rejection. We come down to the 30-minute time frame. If this thing starts to break support, break this level, you could take a more intraday type setup where you're then trying to get in on this trend where it goes to the downside. So that's one way that you can kind of play this, more immediately. But for me, and for the sake of the call, because these calls were mainly trying to look for swing trades, the swing trade would be waiting for it to come back to support and then waiting for support to form to find some sort of entry. And literally, if we map this out, like this is not anywhere near. If you look at where the 38.2 is, for those that don't know what the fibs, 38.2 is mainly where we're trying to look for that reversal. That's like our first kind of golden level here. And that lines up right with our support as well. So if price does make a huge move down this week, and it would be a lot, it'd have to come down literally 200 pips. If it comes down that much, that's where we'd be looking to actually buy this again. But now more immediately, if this thing does break right now, then this is what the actual short position would be. You'd probably put your stops 45 pips, and then you target down in this area, and then you have like a 3-to-1 risk reward, and then your first trade target would be right here because this was that previous little pullback. And then if we targeted that, this would be a that would be 1.0. So at that point, you move your stops break even. So that's a trade idea on GJ at the moment. Again, this thing could just continue to rally and push higher. I just don't see an opportunity to buy unless it starts to form a more clear pattern on this time frame, right? But at the moment, I don't see something too nice that it's not forming any sort of flag or anything like that. It's kind of just ranging right now in this area. So we'll see. That's GJ. Definitely have a setup lined up. So I'll move that one up. Then we've got GU. Let's bump on GU. This one's always going to be similar to GJ. They move very similar. So let's start up on the weekly. Now, what I'm noticing on GU is, unlike GJ, this is still in this like weekly downtrend. So it hasn't broken out on the weekly. If we go back to GU like obliterated the weekly, just completely, blew out these resistance levels. GU hasn't done that. It's still just in this kind of retracement here. Finally revisited this price level around 135, which it hasn't been to since literally last year. So like this whole year has finally come circle. It had this high, this new high, and then it finally came down. And for those that have been on the sessions, this is just like a big head and shoulders pattern that we've been mapping out for literally all of these sessions. So the right shoulder there, we did get the break. Move this up. We did get the break, the retest, and then it pushed. So the head and shoulders pattern definitely was valid. And we were trading this, trying to take shorts, but we're back in this potential area to short again, right? This is the support level that I've drawn. If I just zoom out and we look, what the hell is this level based on, right? Why did I draw this level? So I'm basically basing this on, we had support here, we had support in this area, obviously a lot of consolidation all along this area, finding it as support, and then now we're looking for it to act as some resistance, right? So we're coming back up, we're kind of popping above the zone, but we're coming back up into the area, and we're just looking for another one of these. We had this push down, this push up, this push down, this push up, this push down. Now we're looking for this. This is ideally what we're looking for on GU. That's what at least structure is telling us. Now, how are we going to take advantage of this? Like, how are we going to actually get in on this? And for those that want to go back and kind of break down these previous areas, you could always do this, you could say, okay, what on the lower time frames did I see kind of in those highlighted zones that would have told me to start selling this? We could see in this area, clearly there was a break of structure right here, and then price all along this area. So price started to reject this. So we were in an uptrend, price broke support, acted as resistance, could have sold there, could have sold there, could have sold there. Price fell, a lot, 260 pips. Now we had this area very similar. We had price was in an uptrend. We're forming this higher high, higher low. We had this new high. And then all of a sudden right here, we tested this. I wouldn't call that exactly a break. We had this lower high. Then we had the break right there, and then it shot low. So that's what we're looking for every single time with the swing trading. And this is just using like time frame correlation. We were on the weekly. We highlighted on the weekly these two potential areas where we were at resistance. We're in a weekly downtrend, and then we're at a potential area to sell at. And then we go down to the 4 hour, and we can see on the 4 hour, this is the opportunity right there. And then right here, this is the opportunity right here. So we're definitely early in this trend. I think right now we're just kind of bullish on GU until we get some sort of other structure, right? So GU is just surging to the upside. It's just pushing to the upside. Based on these last two areas where we actually had a break of support, we would have to wait all the way for this to be broken for us to actually start to wait and to take those sells, right? So I'm just going to delete this because this is not even able to be utilized right now. So let's just focus on this overall uptrend. We just broke this high right here. Oh, we just broke this high point right there. Now we formed a new high. We're just simply waiting for a retest. Once it retests this area, we'll take another buy. And then the target is going to be up here. And I'll tell you why. I'm going to put stops always at least 2 to 1. So we're going to throw stops like right around this area. The reason this is the target, guys, is because I brought these volume sessions on. I saw previously, let's let these things load up. I saw previously we had a ton of consolidation up in this area. So there's just a ton of sellers sitting up here at this high point. And when price does reach that area, it most likely is going to reverse pretty aggressively. So if we do get in the buy at this point, I'm going to take this off again. If we do get in the buy right here, that's going to be what the target is. But we are waiting for something similar to these two situations right here. Let's see if I can get this. So, if you guys want to go back yourself and kind of just highlight this out, we have this one, and then we have this one. Again, we went from the weekly time frame, started to break down. So we noticed the head and shoulders pattern. We had this little lower high form, push down, close there, and then we retested the resistance. We were literally going over sells on this call. If you go back to August 2nd, July 26th, like you'll see on the call us going through all of this, and then push down, push up, looking for sells again. So yeah, that's what we're looking for. Same thing here. I do think it's going to go higher. I think it's going to push higher back into this resistance, but we'll see. So that's GU, little lesson on that. Let's go to NU, and let's bump up. Let's bump on this one just to the monthly for 1 second. Let's zoom out a little bit. So the monthly is starting to get a little ugly, right in this area. We are kind of holding support. So I have these two levels marked. I have 6.9, and then I have 7.1, just about 7.15. If you go down to the weekly, it's a little better. So weekly time frame, reason why I have these is we had support all in this area. So price came up, retested, came up, retested. So we had support there. And then we broke below, came back, and held the support again. Support all on this here. Look at this candle, a support candle. And then obviously, what did price do? Price broke the support level, came back up, it retested it, it shot down pretty aggressively. So that kind of is my last confirmation that this is definitely an area of support, or just like an area of support or resistance. Then we have this low right here. We're just going to zoom out. We have this high right here, even going all the way back to this area. We had all the support, and then price rejected this, rejected this, rejected this, rejected this. So these are my key levels. And then look at last week's candle, super bullish right here. So obviously a lot of buyers stepping in, but we're still just in this range. We're just ranging between this level right now. Coming down to the 4-hour, look how the 4-hour is reacting right now. I remember when I was doing this analysis earlier today about 2 hours ago, this was obviously opened up down here. We shot up. I was waiting for this resistance level to be tested. Look how this level was tested. Now, this isn't, for no reason. I have this marked up here because, again, we had a lot of consolidation up at this level. We just kind of zoom in a little bit, look left, right here. We have a little bit of an overlap. So what I look for is each of these little, like what you're seeing, these bars and this flat line right here, this is just representing a session, right? This is just representing the New York session, the London session, the Asian session, right? So this is just representing a session. This is showing the volume within the session. So this overlapped for 2 sessions in a row, which is telling me that there was, a lot of fight within the market at this price, right? This is a very favorable price that it was within, the 710. So price consolidated there for a long time. So, and it held it as support, obviously, in this area. Then it broke, held it as resistance, went lower. So I'm looking for this thing to act as resistance based on where we are currently. Let's go back. Based on where we are currently, I'm looking for it to come back, test it as resistance, and then kind of shoot down to the downside. So it's already doing that. It's about to close in like 18 minutes. Let's just take this off. So this 4-hour is about to close. It's already rejecting this level now. Like, what am I really supposed to do on this at the end of the day? Because this thing just kind of hiked up. As I bump up to the weekly time frame, I need to see price get above this resistance level to take more buys. For me to really start to take more buys on this, I want to see price get above this level. Sure, hypothetically, we could make the case that, like, oh, we're going to test resistance here, previous high, and we could shoot up into this level. Sure, but look how this is forming this long wick. I don't like how that's forming right there. Ideally, what I would want to see is price, if anything, if I was going to take a buy, come down here, consolidate in this area, and then we have that lower time frame break, and then it finally climbs up back into that area, right? So we have some sort of reasoning to actually get in on the trade, as opposed to just, shorting it or whatever, buying it based on more impulse. So that's ideally what we would wait for, because this is just another key level down here. Now, if price does manage to get all the way above this level, obviously for buys. I mean, that's very hypothetical right now. So I don't really have a clear trade on NU, so I'm just quite simply just not going to trade it. So I'm going to look at BTC USD next. Obviously, this thing is very bullish. It's been very bullish ever since it kind of broke out down here. Let's bump up to the weekly, and I just have some levels marked up here. So weekly time frame, obviously, we've got this whole 60 level, 60,000 is obviously level of resistance that we got to always be aware of. But then we have this level up here, at least for Binance. This ultimately was the high, 65, like 300. We're on this area, yeah, 65, 180 was kind of the high point. So at this point, I'm looking for BTC to really push into that level, right? We have the 4-hour very clearly broke, retested as support. That gets us, it's as bullish as it's going to get right there. So price most likely at this point is going to just shoot up into this previous high point. I mean, who really knows how high this thing's going to go? BTC will always have that price dip. Let's actually just leave this here. BTC will always have a little bit of a crash, right? So I'm wondering if it's going to hike up and then crash, and then that'll be the time to get in. Most likely we'll crash back to 60 again, but I am just looking for BTC to come up to that level, potentially come back to 60, and then if it is going to go higher, that's ultimately what it's going to look like. It's got to establish some support down here at the 60 level. And I mean, sure, it could right from this point just shoot up and get above 65 and then hit higher. But as you can see, I'm pretty bullish right now on BTC. I do think BTC is going to go higher. It has all the fundamentals lined up, and it's always strong in the last quarter of the year as well. So yeah, keep an eye on BTC, keep an eye on crypto in general. We're going to take a look next at what is this called? XLM Stellar.
Yep.
Yeah, let's take a look at this Stellar. This one's also super interesting. It's kind of breaking out right now, but bumping up to the weekly. This is what I'm talking about. Like, you can clearly define levels on crypto right now. Is weekly time frame. This is clear as day. We have support, we have resistance. This is clear as day. We have resistance, support, 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 support. These are strong fucking levels down here, right? Like, you could argue that as soon as this happened, this combination, like, you have all the confirmation you need. Retest support, you know, bearish engulfing in a sense, or just like a spinning top after we're pushing to the downside. That's a reversal candle. So crypto definitely gives good levels. Now, look at how this is forming right now. It's kind of suspect. It's coming up into the level, long ass wick. So we're seeing some rejection of the level, but it's still overall very bullish. So going to the 4 hour right now. 4 hours, you know, it's the trend of dreams right now. It's just pushing up. It's respecting support. Actually formed. This would be what considered a flag pattern. So we had that form, then it broke out of the flag, formed this new high. Now we just formed this new high right here. And see how we just retested this as support, and then this just acted as support. So that's just clearly like a buy signal right there. So this would kind of be like, if I were to get in on a trade with this, the one that sucks is, let's actually zoom out. You got to know what to actually target with this. Obviously, we target that previous high, but you know, I guess you're targeting this thing to go a little bit higher. But this would be a pretty decent area to actually get in on. You know, more comfortably, we finally get above the 40 cent level. This would probably be the play, realistically, to get above the 40 cent level and then see this thing actually start to shoot to the upside. So that's the play on Stellar. Obviously, if price just slams the stop loss, this becomes a sell and will start to trend to the downside, but it's more likely that this thing is going to go bullish for this week. So I believe you went over US 30, right?
No, not this week, but I'll cover it. I don't mind.
Yeah, if you want to hop on, cover some US 30.
Yeah,
See.
Let's do it. It's actually doing some interesting stuff, so it's worth checking out. All right, guys, US 30 as requested. So same method here. I mean, I like US 30. I kind of even dumb it down more, if you will, with US 30. I do like a super simplistic approach where I'm only looking for structure, you know, really nothing else. Fibs or occasion, and I use that just in this example here, which I'll show you. But structure really is the overall driver for this. I mean, you could see so clearly that just higher high, higher lows, breaks of resistance, good structure throughout all this. And there's some good patterns as well. So we're here on the daily, overall bullish. What do we see at more recent price action? Some consolidation over here, a little bit of a reaction with 35,000. Okay, we had an attempted break there, didn't follow through, came back down, was bearish here, but now we got a higher low, and now it looks like we're breaking back above 35,000. So this is interesting. It's looking bullish. Really yet to confirm it on the daily anyway. We need to see a higher low, but it's pretty much bullish. So let's just drop down and get a closer look. Okay, so here was that consolidation here. Right, this was the transition below 35,000. Why is this being so annoying? There we go. So here was the transition below, right? Nice break of support, retested, dropped all the way down towards pretty much 33.8, pulled back, tested again, bounced. Now we were in a range at that point. Okay, until we got a nice higher low here, and then a rally. So through 35,000. If I do have the fibs kind of basing it on if this is the absolute high. This was also drawn from the daily, so let's just make it a 4-hour. Okay, so assuming this is the absolute high, our new higher high, we're looking for higher lows here. I don't think it is, though. It's probably going to push up a little bit more and then pull back to give us a higher low. You want to give us a little bit of space once it clears a big level like that to make sure it's not a fake out. So give it a little room to breathe. It'll probably pull back, and then we're looking for higher lows. So it's going to do something probably like this. Just forget the fibs for a second. I'll adjust them. This is the most likely scenario for this week. Okay, this would actually be a nice little confluence area here. Like so. Okay, and let's say the fibs or something like that. Nice confluence there. Boom. So that's what we really need to see to confirm structure, to confirm both the continuation of this 4-hour bullish trend and also the daily, because that will confirm a transition of 35,000 here, as we just covered before. So this could really have some room to run. If we play by the fibs, we're looking towards our 36,000 level. Nice psychological level. It's possible. Definitely possible. But let's say this is a fake out. Price action pulls back. And we fall back into this range. Where can we enter short? Essentially here on a lower high below 35,000. You just have to make sure that it's a real break below. This is why I always say this. I'm sure some of you guys are like, he says this on every pair, but I'm telling you, you got to wait for confirmation. And we do that in price action by finding the next lower high before a bearish leg or the next higher low before a bullish leg. Okay, they're just the most likely scenarios where you're going to find the best risk reward. You're going to have the best entries and potential of it actually following through. Okay, so this is what US 30 is looking like. I do like the volume. I definitely rather choose a direction rather than range. That just kind of sucks. So yeah, let's see this push a little bit higher, pull back, give us some structure, and then go towards a new high. It looks pretty clear on the daily too, which is nice. And yeah, so that's US 30. Okay, this one I did post though on TradingView, so no live chart here. Maybe I'll post it later though.
Yeah, US 30 is breaking out a little bit too.
Right.
All right, word. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. That's all the analysis that we're going to cover for the week. We posted inside of the chat, like Nick said. See if Telegram can actually work for us. We posted inside of the chat all of our analysis. Dude, I hate when it does this. I got to update it. So you can come in here, go back later in the week, check it all out, and play it forward. And the goal of this is, for you beginners, when we first started, or not even first started, but just we're kind of analyzing, we always wanted to kind of look at someone else's analysis and see how it is. So we give you guys some analysis. You don't got to rely on these random people, all in the chat. There are some, people in there that are reliable, but there are others that are sharing just like the most random shit. So try to stick to looking at this analysis. And if you guys are ready to at the point where you're ready to take some trades, we are doing a sale this week. We're going to do a sale on the signals. So I believe it's posted earlier in here. We're doing 40% off the rapid signals. You could go about taking these a few different ways. You could obviously blindly just take them, right? Putting them in with the entry, the stop loss, the take profit. That's what we put in here for every single trade. Or you could kind of use them as leads. I had someone trying to describe this to me. Basically, like, this is your business. Any other business, you're going to want leads. So you see a trade signal come out in our chat, line it up yourself. See if based on your analysis, it's very similar. And if it is, then you can kind of use this as a confirmation to take the trade. So as you can see in here, every single one that it ends up hitting take profit, we do a before and after in here, just so you guys know when the trade is actually over with. And yeah, it's going to be 40% off this week. So just click on the link right here. If you want to check out all the results, come to the pinned message and just click right here. So that's pretty much it. It's all I got for you guys. Everyone in Funded Trader, obviously, best of luck this week. Hope you guys do well. And yeah, we'll be back later in the week with more updates, for all the community.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, what's left of it, and
Oh yeah.
start the week strong with us. So we'll see you guys in the community.
Hell yeah. Peace out, everybody.
Peace.